Football Friday night on 5 News.
Man, it is good to hear those words. The high school football season is back, but the best part, so are we.
Yeah, that's right. We're back. We're back here with you.
Finally, it's been a long 8 months, and of course, this is Football Friday night, the only show in the area that covers all 54 of our local high school football teams from NWA to the River Valley into Oklahoma. It's going to be a fun season. I'm Jacob Seuss.
And I'm Jonathan Acosta. Buckle up, because over the course of the next 4 months, every Friday night, we'll be taking you into the action of the biggest games that our local communities have to offer, starting with a stacked slate of zero-week contests.
It really was. We started on Tuesday, Thursday with a bunch of rivalry games, but today we had maybe the biggest rivalry game that goes back over 60 years, the Battle of Rogers Ave between Northside and Southside, and it truly doesn't get any better than this. These two, they've come up with a little tradition of starting the season against each other. I don't know how I feel about that shirt, though. You're supposed to be rivals. Tied at 7, Northside knocking on the doorstep, but a huge tackle. We got a fumble. Southside's Hayden Chaffee pounces on the loose ball. Mavs would go on to punt, setting up this. A huge bomb from the quarterback connects with Damari Smith one-on-one. Grizzlies take the lead 14-7. This game currently still in progress, but these two went at it all night long. The Mavs would kick a field goal, and check this out. It doesn't count, but to Kavion King, nice return and hurdle over the Southside defender. That man's got hops. That would set up a 75-yard touchdown run by running back Tavarius King. That would give Northside a 21-10 lead late in the first half. This one just entered the fourth quarter. Northside with a 28-17 lead. Grizzlies look like they're going to pull it out, but you know when these two play, you can never be certain until that final whistle.
No, that's right. But either way, a rivalry game, we love to see them back on our schedule. Now we go from crosstown rivals to cross-state foes. Bentonville taking on Oklahoma powerhouse Broken Arrow. We'll pick things up in the second half. Bentonville up 21-17, third and long. Carter Nye going back, dumps it off to Josh Ficklin, and the senior zigs and zags his way for the big pickup and first down. Later in the drive, those two would connect once again. This time to cap off the drive. Nye to Ficklin for the short touchdown pass. Bentonville takes a 28-17 lead. This game was back and forth, though. Ensuing Broken Arrow drive after we see the push-ups, kind of what the Oregon Duck does after touchdowns. Handoff to Kyber Harris. He says, "Catch me if you can." Harris sprints down the sideline for the touchdown. A 2-point conversion brought those Tigers within 3. But it was the Bentonville Tigers who would roar loudest tonight as Jody Grant's team takes the 56-46 victory.
A lot of offense, we love it. Now out to Rogers Heritage, War Eagles playing host to was All-American Amari Dingle. Watch this, he finishes things off with a burst through the hole. He's long gone for a touchdown. Heck of the way for the War Eagles to start the season. Later in the half, 9-0 now, thanks to a safety. And here's the play of the night. Tillman McNair decides to take it, eludes 2 Panther defenders. He's gone. 90-yard kick return, and it was all Rogers Heritage, who had a 16-0 lead. And watch this. He scores. He comes back to the sideline. He pulls the shrug toward the student section. That's a man we like to see score. Rogers Heritage, they're going to take this one 16-14.
That was a little bit of a Jordan shrug there. Now we head out to Lincoln, where the Wolves were hosting Greenland. We'll start things off with Lincoln. Wolves quarterback Chris West here. A quick pass out to Cale Jones, looking to the side, finds him, and Jones goes on to pick up a pretty nice first down. Look at him just...
Good blocks in there.
A lot of yak there, a lot of yards after the catch. Pirates quarterback Max Meredith here with the keeper, breaks free, and then he almost goes all the way to the end zone, brought down about 5 yards short, but no matter. Greenland would punch it in shortly after. Pirates first and goal. Meredith again with the keeper. That's a TD, and they go up 7-0. Special teams would play a factor tonight in this one, though. We love special teams. 3 faces to the game: offense, defense, and special teams. Caden Brewer here with a great return, just kept picking up the yards. Lincoln would have no issue moving the ball in this one. Chris West again, a nice pass to Jace Burks. That goes for a Lincoln first down, and then Drew Moore with the short pass again to Jace Burks. This one for the touchdown. Lincoln would go on to score a lot more than that, though. They're up 51-38 late in the fourth quarter as of last look.
So now we're going to head across state lines. Battle between Pecola and Heavener. Indians were real good last year, and they're going to start things right where they left off. Indians get things going quickly. Colby Masterson takes the handoff from A.J. Lyons. sheds a tackle on the outside, takes this one 39 yards. That's good for a Pecola touchdown. Indians up 6-0. On the ensuing drive, Heavner quarterback Dalton Seymour keeps the drive alive with his legs and finds a wide open Jackson Club on the goal line. Wolves take a 7-6 lead. Next Pecola drive ends in a fumble recovered by Heavner. Wolves capitalized, but it didn't come without some drama. Long third down plays bobbled. Seymour finds Club 92-yard strike. Wow. Heavner had a 14-6 lead, but Pecola goes on in the second half. They win this one big. Indians start the year with a 52-35 victory.
A couple of teams putting up some 50 burgers.
Yeah,
season, right?
A lot of offense. Look at that. We got some other big offensive games tonight. Perryville putting up 48. Waldron putting up 48. Look at that. Center Point and Hackett. Real tight battle.
That's right. And who could forget the Battle of the Bone that kicked off the season here in the River Valley in Northwest Arkansas. Alma winning that game 27-7 over their rivals.
And it looks like it's going to be another big season for the Boonville Bearcats. They won tonight 36-6. But don't worry, we're just getting started here on Football Friday night. When we return, the Fayetteville Purple Dogs out in Little Rock with a whole new cast of characters. That and more when we return.
But before we go, our first ever Cheerleaders of the Week takes us to Lincoln.
All Friday night on 5 News.
All Friday night. Last year, the Fayetteville football team produced the most Division I players in the entire state. That group took them all the way to the state title game. But this year, the Purple Dogs look to finish the job with a whole new crop of talent. Fayetteville and Little Rock taking on Cabot, the team they ended the season of last year. Cabot, though, gets on the board early. Long touchdown here against the Fayetteville defense. And Cabot was off to an early 7-0 lead. But here comes the Fayetteville offense looking to do some damage. Fourth down here, new quarterback Drake Lindsay is going to fire a strike, and that gets the Purple Dogs that much-needed first down. But would they be able to strike? Lindsay now looking toward the end zone. No good. Fires over the head there. Cabot, they would go on to win this one with a last-second touchdown. Fayetteville, they drop a thriller, but still come away with the loss. 31-28 is your final.
And back in Northwest Arkansas, Bentonville West opened its season against Booker T. Washington. The Hornets feature a wide receiver who will soon make NWA his permanent home and 4-star Razorback commit Micah Tees. Over to Centerton, a huge cross-state matchup. Those Wolverines hosting Booker T, and there's the Hawk commit right there, Micah Tees. West QB Jay Casey, though, is a name to watch this season as well, and plays like this are why. Going deep, an absolute dime to his wideout Ty Durham. That TD bomb put West on top 7-0. So Bentonville West on the board. Following Hornets drive, Lathan Boone goes short to Isaac Fain. He picks up some yardage, but Tate West punches the ball out of there. Thomas Wilbanks, right place, right time, falls in it, and the Wolverines force the turnover. They weren't done causing havoc. Booker T going for the field goal, and it's blocked. Nick Bell tracks the ball down. He tells Booker T to meet him in the end zone. 85 yards to the house. An impressive win for the Wolverines to open the season. Bentonville West with a statement 28-7 win at home.
Next up, a trip to Huntsville. Eagles took on Lamar in their home opener. Here, Amos Mays had a good season last year for the Eagles, looking to follow that up, but it's the defense that get things started. Lamar's Jared Dalton comes away with the sack, and for Dalton, the night was just getting started. Later in the first quarter, Lamar's going to put up their first touchdown of the year, and guess who? Dalton into the end zone. Later on we go, Lamar with a 12-0 lead, but it's Huntsville now, looking to create a little offense. J.J. McCubbin, one of the best names in the state, catches the pass from Mays. Eagles driving. Later on in the drive, Mays doing what he does best. Top-notch throw here to Phillip Littorell. Lamar is going to take this one, though, 35-12.
Still to come here on Football Friday night. Two teams needing to get their seasons off on the right foot. Pea Ridge playing host to Gravette.
You're watching Football Friday night on 5 News.
Not done yet. A couple more games still here on tap for Football Friday night before we put that bow on 0 week.
Exactly. We'll take things now to Pea Ridge, where the Blackhawks were playing a Gravette team it has something in common with. Both teams were not satisfied with the way things turned out last fall. So a chance to get off on the right foot as both teams met tonight up in Benton County. We'll pick things up in the first quarter. P. Ridge, they would be able to strike first. Quarterback Gavin Dixon throwing to Caden Rains for the game's first touchdown. The extra point was good, so the Blackhawks are up 7-0. We'll stay in the first quarter. Gravett now down just 7-6. Gabe Holmes throwing to receiver Ethan Ellis. Ellis gets the Lions' first touchdown of the season. Gravett takes its first lead of the game, 13-7. The Blackhawks wouldn't be down for long, though. 45 seconds left in the half. Dixon to the air and finds Austin James to tie the game up. It was a tight one, but P. Ridge gets the win at home, 27-20, the final in favor of the Blackhawks.
Finally, we finish in Springdale. Red Dogs hosting Harrison. We jump to the third. It's 7-7. The Goblins take 7 minutes off the clock coming out of the locker room. They finish the drive with a long field goal to take the lead, but the Red Dogs defense, more of a bend, don't break mentality. But on the next possession, special teams comes through again. Springdale 3 and out. Harrison comes away with the punt block. They turn that into 7. And just like that, they had a 10-possession lead. Springdale, they put together a few nice possessions in this one, but they would ultimately fall in the season opener. 27-14, or 24-14, excuse me, is your final from Springdale. But of course, a couple more games that we couldn't get to tonight. Rogers going into Little Rock Southwest and pulling off the victory.
That's a good win for them.
They were off to another good start this year, getting the 32-14 victory over Pottsville.
Elkins is going to be really good. Farmington has one of the best quarterbacks in the state, and Cam Van Zandt, and look at that score down in your bottom right. Going to Greenbrier and beating them 49-20. So a good start for several of the teams in our viewing area here in this week 0 of the season.
Yeah, another good one for Poto as well, getting the 14-6 win over Bishop Kelly. Surprising, though, out in Oklahoma, those Greenwood Bulldogs coming away with a loss in 0 week, though. But you'll remember, Greenwood started a bit slow last year. It took them probably about halfway through the season to really find their legs, and of course then they went to the state title game.
That's right. It's a team that you don't worry about them at the beginning of the season. They've found ways before to get hot as the season goes on, and sometimes the playoff isn't who's the best team, but who's the hottest team. So still plenty of weeks left in this season for them to figure it out.
And I think that's really the beauty of 0 week. Whether you played really well tonight or whether you didn't play really well tonight, at the end of the day, it doesn't mean that much toward a run toward the playoffs, toward a run toward the conference standings. So you can more use tonight to see what you need to fix up before we head into week 1.
Honestly, one of the best things about 0 week is just that we preview these teams for like a month.
Yes.
And then the week gets here, and then it's like no more previews. We finally get to talk about games, do highlights, do this show. It's just so good to have football back on the schedule.
Yeah, really, just getting back out there was awesome. And we love going to those practices, but I think after the couple weeks in August, we're ready to finally see the real thing.
For sure, yeah. No, it's nice to get out there and see some touchdowns, some big hits, some turnovers, everything that you would associate with a football Friday night.
Well, that's going to do it. 0 week in the books here for Football Friday night. Appreciate you guys joining, and we'll see you next week. Have a great weekend.